Well, good evening. Welcome to Grover Hill Zion United Methodist Church Thursday evening devotions from around the kitchen table, where for many weeks now we've been looking at the history or the story behind some of the great hymns of faith, some of the great hymns of the church. Tonight's hymn is no different. Some of these hymns were written because of their relationship with God. Some of them were written as a result of great tragedy. So some of them were written from whatever it is that you're experiencing and going through, and perhaps they've even helped you from time to time in your life. Well, the hymn we're looking at tonight is no different. This hymn came out of the result of a tragedy, and it's titled Stand Up for Jesus. It was written by George Duffield. He was born in 1818 and died in 1888. Sounds like a long time, doesn't it? But it's still a great old hymn of the church. The story of the hymn begins at a great city-wide revival in Philadelphia in 1858. It was called the Great Work of God in Philadelphia. Of the participating ministers, they say that none of them was more powerful than 29-year-old Episcopalian Dudley Tyng, who was known for his bold and uncompromising preaching. Now, in addition to pastoring his own church, Dudley Tyng began holding noonday services downtown at the YMCA. Great crowds came to hear this young dynamic preacher. On Tuesday, March the 30th, 1858, they say that over 5,000 men gathered for a noon mass meeting to hear young Tyng preach from the text, "Ye that are men, go and serve the Lord," and that's in Exodus chapter 10, verse 11. And it said that day over 1,000 of these men committed their lives to Christ. At one point, then, the young preacher Tyng exclaimed, "I must tell my master's errand, and I would rather that this right arm were amputated at the trunk than that I should come short of my duty to delivering to you in delivering God's message." Turns out then that the very next week, while visiting in the country, he was watching the operation of a corn threshing machine in a barn. Young Tyng got too close to the cogs in the machine, and he accidentally caught his loose shirt sleeve then between some of the cogs, and his arm was severely lacerated. The main artery was severed, the median nerve was injured, and as a result of shock and great loss of blood, the Reverend Dudley Tyng died. On his deathbed, when asked by a group of sorrowing friends and some of his ministry colleagues for a final statement, he feebly whispered, "Let us all stand up for Jesus." The next Sunday then, Tyng's close friend and fellow worker, the Reverend George Duffield, the pastor of Temple Presbyterian Church in Philadelphia, preached his sermon as a tribute to his departed friend. He closed his sermon by reading a poem that he had just finished writing, inspired, as he told his people, by the dying words of his esteemed friend. And I'm just going to share with you the words of the first verse of his poem. There's three. but I'll share the first one with you. Stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. Lift high his royal banner, it must not suffer loss. From victory to victory his army shall he lead, till every foe is vanquished and Christ is Lord indeed. You know, for over 150 years now, this hymn has brought many thousands of people to the cross of Jesus, where they found salvation, mercy, and love. And I hope you have too. I hope you take a few moments just to look it up on the internet and listen to it for a moment, and you'll be blessed if you do. Well, I encourage you to have a great and blessed week, and to just do something this week to reach out and touch somebody else's life this week. Have a great and blessed week.